hard, and if you struggle with planning, let me turn you on to a system that might do it for you this year. I'm that person that's either planning way too much or not enough at all. There is no in between for me. I've tried calendar blocking, but my concept of time is absolutely terrible. Knowing what to put onto my calendar at what time is an impossible task. Once something has been placed onto my calendar, not feeling overwhelmed by the sheer amount of things that are on the calendar and not wanting to beat myself up at the end of the day because I didn't finish all of the things on my calendar, that is an entirely different animal that I have to tackle every single time I try to plan. My process for planning creates such an unhealthy pattern of self-inflicted mental abuse that it's very, very sad, and I'm trying to break that. So I want to do all the things, and I get bored really easily. So being able to move around as inspiration hits me throughout the month is going to be crucial to my mental health and me just being the most amazing creative being that I can in 2023. So in order to make sure that I'm getting everything done that I want to get done, I'm turning my tasks and my plans into a gigantic achievement board. So the first step in creating your own massive planning achievement board is to come up with the pillars that your tasks are going to be categorized under. For me, my pillars are creating my SVGs, my sublimation designs, fonts, clip art, stuff like that. I'm also going to be focusing on social media, so making sure that I'm staying consistent on YouTube, posting inside of my Facebook group and on my Facebook page, and figuring out Pinterest. That stuff is going to be under social. I do want to take more time to learn this year. I've bought a few classes, so I definitely need to explore those things. So learning is going to be another pillar for me. And then of course, I've got the business side of everything, like uploading all of my content across the different platforms that I sell on, making sure that my accounting stuff stays up to date so it's not a huge hassle at the end of the year, and other tasks like that. Give me just a second and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So now that our pillars or our main categories are there, I'm gonna start going through and making sure that all of the tasks that I would accomplish for that category are there. So for me, the things that I want to create this year, we have SVG designs, there's sublimation, fonts, clip art, stuff like that. So give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing for the socials, the learning, and the business. So now that the tasks have been assigned, and my tasks are really short, you absolutely can go into more detail on these, get more specific, whatever is going to be best for you. I want to be able to kind of freely interpret these things, because the more restrictions that I put on this, the harder that it's going to be for me. And these levels are already going to provide me with enough context to know what I need to do. And I have other things that are going to accompany this particular setup so that I can reference later. Now for level 1, level 2, level 3, these are in regards to your achievement processes. Level 1 achievements are always going to be the easiest things to accomplish. This is the thing that gets you hooked in there when you play video games, where you're like, yep, I got this, I can do it again. So keep your level 1 requirements really low. Now, when I first set this up, when I was going through, this stage probably took the longest time because my level 1 achievements were so outrageous that there was no way that I was going to be able to accomplish them. So you want to start out as reasonable as possible with yourself. Just to give you an idea, what I originally said for SVGs was I was going to create 100 of them a week. And if that is all that I was going to do for the week, it would be no big deal. But there's a lot of other things that I also want to do. So creating 100 SVGs each week plus all of the other things is very unreasonable for me. And if I set up my expectations like that right out the gate, it's not going to do anyone any good, especially myself. So I'm going to pull up what my minimum goals were for SVGs so that I can share those with you guys so you can see, engage, and get an idea of what I'm talking about. Alright, so those are my level 1 bare minimum goals for the month or the week, depending on which task it was. For the designing task or the creating task, I really wanted to be able to float around a little bit based on the holidays, what kind of events were coming up, when inspiration hit. So having those set for the month was going to give me the freedom that I needed without feeling like I was constricted. But if you look for the socials, the learning, and the biz, I did set those up on weekly. I didn't give it a date. I just said by the end of the 7 days, I want to have those things completed. Now, I skipped level 2 and I went straight to level 3. My level 3 goals are the ones that if I get this done, it's been an amazing month. Like hands down, mic drop, all that stuff. Level 3 goals are the things that you're like, holy cow, you killed it. So make these goals your stretch goals. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So with my level 2 goals, I'm going to set those to where they can be achieved, but it is going to require me to do a little bit of work. But I don't want it to be so much work where the difference between level 2 and level 3 is very minuscule. For some of these, it's going to be really easy to just kind of like split the difference in the middle, but for other ones, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. For the ones that I can't find a middle ground, I'm going to move it from a level 3 to a level 2 and just know that once that skill has been mastered for the month, I'm good to go and I can move on and focus on some of the other things. Not every task do you need to have a level 3 achievement. Some of the tasks might not even need a level 2 achievement. Some of these might just be a one and done scenario. This is very much so catered to what you need personally for your business or for your life or anything like that. So feel free to use this as a guide and kind of develop it in your own way. So everyone's styles are different, and the biggest thing here is just making sure that we're all going to be able to be the best versions of ourselves in the month that we're in. So let me come up with my level 2s really quick and iron out the rest of the details, and I'll explain to you how I'm going to use it. So now that my achievement levels are completed, I'm going to use this information, and as I go throughout the month, I'm going to pull different tasks from here and check them off. I'm not assigning any of this stuff to any specific date or any specific week, because if I do that, then it's going to restrict the creative, just flow that I have. That's the problem that I had with calendar blocking and putting anything on the calendar and then feeling like I'm behind and I haven't accomplished anything at all. So in order to avoid those meltdowns, I'm just gonna let it be. As I have the energy to do certain tasks, I can go ahead and accomplish those. Some of these things, I might get in a groove and I might power through all of them. Once I hit a certain level of achievement, I can move on to something else. And then if I find time at the end of the month, I can circle back and master a second layer. This system might not be perfect, but it is something that I am going to be trying in 2023 because the systems that I've been working on are not working for me. At the end of January, I'm going to review the goals that I set out for myself and figure out which ones were still too big to bite and which ones might be needing some work. After a few months, if I notice that some of these things just aren't getting done at all, I'm going to take it completely off because clearly that achievement doesn't mean that much to me, and it doesn't make sense to continue to throw that on there if I'm not going to ever gravitate towards that task. So if you're frustrated with your current planning situation and you're wanting to try something new this year, be sure to click the description box down below and check the first comment. I'm going to include a blank copy of this so that you guys could start trying something new today. So if this video has helped you at all, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments down below if you grabbed the sheet and what your goals are for 2023.